Massive update for XRP investors. XRP just got the green light to be used as collateral in the USA. And during today's episode, we're going to highlight how Ripple and Bitnomial have forged a brand new partnership highlighted by Ripple's $25 million investment back in 2024. This collaboration extends to Ripple's stablecoin RLUSD as well as the XRP token. Now, why is this so important? For the first time ever in November of 2025, Bitnomial expanded this relationship by becoming the first U.S. regulated derivatives clearing organization to accept stablecoins as collateral. But that's not where it ends. They specifically added two tokens in RLUSD and XRP. As a result, both RLUSD and XRP can now be used as collateral for trading leveraged perpetuals, futures, and options on Bitnomial's exchange. This is enhancing capital efficiency for institutions as well as retail traders. Now, why does this impact XRP? This boosts XRP's utility and liquidity by allowing institutional traders, crypto funds, and market makers to deploy XRP holdings directly without having to convert those tokens into fiat. This reduced costs and enhanced capital efficiency in a compliant environment here inside the United States. As a result, this is going to be driving higher on-chain demand and settlement volume for XRP, potentially leading to that supply shock and mass adoption moment we've all been waiting for. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Good Evening Crypto, your favorite crypto news-related channel. If you enjoy this content, smash that like button and subscribe, as you can tell, this is going to be an episode for the history books. And you're reading that title correctly. XRP can now be used as collateral on the Bitnomial exchange. And why is this so important? This is the first ever Cftc approved futures crypto trading platform, and the centerpiece of it all is Ripple and XRP. And I was quickly reminded of this video from our friend Matt Hogan at Bitwise, who was talking about how the regulatory cloud has been lifted and Ripple and XRP are free to thrive.
You also recently launched a Ripple ETF. Why did you focus on Ripple?
Yeah, so Ripple has an extraordinarily strong community. It's a Lindy asset that's been around for a long time. And therefore, we think people want exposure to it in an ETF. And then the second sort of implied question, I think, in your question is, what about its real world use case? And my view on Ripple is that this is a blockchain that faced existential regulatory threat for the past X years. The SEC was suing it basically out of existence. As a result, there was no chance for it to have any real world adoption because who was going to partner and build on Ripple when it faced existential lawsuits from the SEC? Just not going to happen. Now those lawsuits have been removed, and there's a chance that this blockchain finds real world use cases now that it can compete on a level playing field.
And this is the moment we've been waiting for the XRP community, Johnny, because we know we have the best leadership team, we have the best technologies, and now we have the closest relationship with the United States government. If you guys are excited, not only that ETFs are live, but XRP can now be used as collateral, smash that like button. And let me just say it as clearly as I can. This is a major win for the XRP community because it positions the token as the first altcoin in American history to be accepted as native margin collateral for a fully regulated CFTC derivatives exchange. Floor is yours.
It really does, Debs. At the end of the day, when you talk about utility and use cases, and everybody kind of says, oh, XRP is for cross-border payment solution. Well, it's going to be a lot more than just that. I mean, now they're going to be able to use as collateral for trading. And again, this is what, as an XRP holder, what I'm looking for. I don't really care whether they're the cross-border payment solution answer or this or that. What I care about is that the company is working to build utility for its underlying asset. And that's really what you see Ripple doing here, right? They're on the board member. They're building. They're the ones creating. And the way I kind of think of it is like, here they are, like they want to build a house, right? But they're creating all the things you need to build the house. And then they're buying the land. And then they got the cement and they're building the foundation. They're literally building the whole damn thing themselves. And you're seeing this happen right in front of your eyes. And now with the CFTC approval, for the first time ever, Abs, I don't think people understand. Companies, institutions, people can use their XRP as collateral. What does that mean? Well, in the past, if you wanted to do that, you had to sell your XRP into fiat and use it as collateral, which means you're selling, and that puts downward pressure on the price. Well, when you can actually use the asset as collateral, the beautiful part about it is not only do you not have to sell it so you don't put downward pressure, but you're kind of locking it up. When you put stuff on collateral, you're putting it there and you're locking it and it's holding there. You can't sell it. You can't get rid of it. So it's almost like until, of course, you unwind the trade. But that means you're going to have more XRP off the shelf. Remember we kept talking about the ETFs take product off the shelf, and that's going to build up for a supply shock someday. Well, this just continues to add to that, to exacerbate it. At some point in time, we're going to wake up one day and like, bang, the price is going to go flying. Well, it's going to be because so much of this stuff is now being locked up and you're cutting utility. So very, very excited. Huge progress, not only for XRP, but for the crypto industry as a whole. This is a big win with Bitnomial.
Well, the XRP price chart is sitting in oversold territory as well. And this is something we've been highlighting for the better half of a couple of weeks here. But the XRP price chart is officially in its cooling phase where bottoms form and big money prepares to enter. Now, the spot volume bubble is flashing as oversold as we're showing on this price chart, while XRP ETFs are rolling out worldwide, unlocking fresh institutional liquidity. You have an oversold asset with an expanding ETF rails. Johnny, it's exactly like I've been saying. Retail is stepping out while institutions are stepping in here inside the United States. And this really gets kicked into overdrive starting with the Clarity Act being passed in Q1 2026. That's what the timeline is for the time being. And Sal Gilberti perfectly highlights how this is going to impact the XRP community. I just wanted to remind you guys, December 18th, Sal Gilberti will be joining this show. Here's what he had to say about where XRP and Ripple stand as the future of finance. Here it is.
What's your take on where XRP is right now and its sort of potential for real adoption, which I think is what people are really hoping for?
I think the potential for real adoption is more than potential, is being adopted. Ripple has worked diligently. They're very professional over there. They are single-minded in their purpose, and they are building the rails, as they say, across the entire global financial system for the XRPL, so the XRP ledger, to be used. And of course, you use XRP on the ledger, you use RLUSD, which is their stable coin on the ledger. And all the banks, once the Clarity Act is passed, I think you're going to see use of that ledger explode. I don't think people understand how much it's being used right now or it's being prepared right now. And I don't even grasp the scale of how big the use of that ledger is going to be once the Clarity Act is passed. And that's really a needed thing. I think that the spot ETFs where they actually hold the physical, that does help. It takes some supply off the market. We saw it help the Ether price quite a bit when the Ether ETFs came out. I don't know what will happen here. I would think it would provide at least some underpinning. I would think that as more money comes in, the price volatility will go down a little bit because we've seen that in other assets. So that's something to reasonably expect. But I don't think people understand that the Ripple's a real live use case. Ripple the company has been very disciplined in setting itself up in thousands of banks on all the platforms across the world. As soon as there's clarity in the US for banks to, and let's face it, all the money in the world goes through the US at one point or another, it just does. And once the US banks have a very clear, well-defined regulatory environment in which to play, I think the use of the XRPL skyrockets. And
Johnny Krypto, this is why I'm so excited about the future of digital assets. Retail investors who showed up here 12 months ago, they're frustrated, they're concerned. You listen to guys like Sal Gilberti, who have been on Wall Street since the late 90s. They've been in digital assets for several years. He is saying that he's more excited than ever. And there was a clip from Brad Garlinghouse that came out 48 hours ago where Brad not only predicted $180,000 Bitcoin next year, he also predicted that 2026 will be the most bullish year for digital assets to date. But I wanted to elaborate on this one more time, guys. Why is this partnership, why is this collaboration so important for the XRP token? Well, the Ripple and Bitnomial partnership is enabling XRP to be used as collateral for the first time ever on a U.S. derivatives exchange that's fully regulated. This is poised to positively impact the XRP price chart because of the increased institutional demand, higher liquidity, and broader adoption of the derivatives market, where over $1 quadrillion exists today. Ripple and the XRP ledger are tapping into the largest financial markets on the planet. And for the first time ever, Johnny, somebody made this analogy on the show. It was perfect. They said XRP was like Voldemort. You could not say the name if you were a large financial institution. Now we not only have these companies buying in, we have these companies talking positively about Ripple and the XRP ledger. And now with retail investors stepping out, it appears massive opportunity is on the horizon with the passing of the Clarity Act. What are some of your thoughts on this one?
That's exactly right, Abs. Right now, that's exactly what you're seeing is retail is completely scared out of this market. And that's exactly what the the institutions want. They're buying up right now at this point. I mean, look at the price chart. I don't have to tell you. The thing just sits solid, rock solid between $180 and $2. There is big institutional money, I think, coming in and buying up because they see the writing on the wall. And Sal kind of summed it up perfectly, like we've been saying for a while. Ripple is building the ecosystem for this. And they're fortunate they have enough money in the bank to be able to do that. And then all these other banks behind the scene that are working, they're not going to move forward. None of these companies are going to move forward with any of this stuff until we get the Clarity Act. We need that act. It's so important for that to come because that finally gives all, and just like Matt said, you know, Ripple, unfortunately, XRP had been set back for 4 years while they're being sued by the SEC. Well, the SEC, we know the lawsuit's over, but there's still not clarity around the whole crypto industry yet. We're waiting for that big piece. And I'm telling you, man, I think it's going to be the linchpin to bring back 1996 and 97 all over again. But now this time in this industry, you're really, really talking about a lot of money coming in. And therefore, the people who are getting shaken out now, oh boy, they're gonna regret it. But the folks who are DCAing and doubling down right now, kind of like you and I, where we talk about every night, where we're always buying. This is the perfect opportunity to be buying when the institutions are buying, because I think once that's all done and the dust settles and the Clarity Act comes and then the news comes out, price is going to start going up, my friend. And at that point, it's going to be a tough, difficult decision on where you want to get in when the price is going up. You don't want to be buying when it's going up. That's when you want to be selling.
Absolutely, guys. And this is why we talk about creating a profit plan beforehand by leveraging the Merlin application. And Johnny, you said something really important as well. Is big money entering this space? Definitively, yes. ETFs now have over $1 billion in assets under management through the XRP token alone. That is over 473 million tokens that have been taken off exchanges and OTC desks in just the first 11 trading days since these products went live. If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you all in the next one.
Good night.